Are the Milwaukee Brewers starting to get that feeling back, that winning feeling? Man, it sure seems so after watching the last couple of nights. They've won 4 in a row. We'll talk about that as they head into Philly. All next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Anyone who watched the Brewers last year knew that they had some sort of magic going on. You know, just something there. They get to a late inning game and it'd be a low scoring game or whatever. They trail. Somehow, some way, the Brewers were going to pull off a win. They were overcoming things and things were going in their direction. They had that proverbial 4-leaf clover in their back pocket. Seems like we're getting some of those feelings back again lately. Hey, everybody. Chuck Freeman here, Locked On Brewers. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day here on Locked On Brewers. Couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without you. So I tell my boy every day, tell him, couldn't do it without you, Brady. All right. The Milwaukee Brewers, who couldn't do without the great Brewer fans, you guys out there. They did it again. Second consecutive walk-off victory against Boston. They complete the 3-game sweep. They go to a season-high 4 games winning streak, and they go a game over the 500 mark. How about that? Now they're still 6.5 behind the Cubs. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But finding a way to get the job done and winning this game, coming from behind and doing it. Blowing a lead and then coming back and getting the job done. A little bit of magic, man. They have some guys on this team who are just flat out winners. And I'm just going to single out a couple of guys. I look at these guys are just winners. Frelick and Turang. It's something about those guys that I've seen enough of them. They just got this winning gene in them. And I can't explain it. You know, that it factor. Turang and Frelick both have that winning gene among them. I would love both of those guys to stay here long term. I know Turang on a little bit of a slump. Frelick, second time he's had 4 hits in a game. He did that on Wednesday. But I'm telling you what, those two guys, love to see them long term. Hard nose, 150%. Good players and fun players to watch too. Just fun players to watch. And I think those are key guys you need on a team if you're going to be a championship level team. And the Brewers have been division championship level the past couple of years. They have just not been able to take, as we know, get by the first round of the playoffs. But still, Frelick and Turang, they just have that certain thing about them that you feel like nothing bothers them in big moments, right? You don't think that, well, I feel good when both those guys, no matter what kind of slump they're in, and they've both gone through slumps, wherever they are, you just feel good when they come to the plate, right? Frelick 4 hits, hustling out a single in the 10th inning, looked great doing it, and kept the inning going. A little grounder hit the first, and Frelick is busting down the line, beats it out. So you got runners at first and third, and he eventually scores the game-winning run. Just winners, those two guys are. Just real flat-out winners. So, but I think the Brewers, they have to play this type of ball because they dug themselves in a hole. They have to get on a little bit of a roll right now. And I'm not just talking a 4-game winning streak. They got to keep this thing going. Now, the true litmus test is obviously Philadelphia coming up this weekend on the road. Now, what I don't want to see is them they'll give these 3 games back in Philadelphia. These 3 games they just beat Boston in, give them back. And I'm telling you, what the Brewers do when I talk about that magic, they take advantage of bad baseball. When a team is playing bad baseball, like the Boston Red Sox there this weekend. All right, let's face it. We want to credit the Brewers But sometimes you got to look at the team they're playing. And the team they're playing, the Boston Red Sox, I saw them play up front and personal all 3 games this weekend. Went to all 3 games at AmFam Field. Covered all 3 games. And I watched them, and I'm like, God, this is a bad baseball team. Base running errors. Trying to run on Frelick. Even in the 10th inning. Ground ball hit the second. Bad throw home. Bad throw home. I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, Boston did everything possible to try to throw away that series. So at one point during the game, I put this out on Twitter. I said, this is the game the Brewers got to win. They got to sweep this series because Boston is just basically saying, here, we're done. Just making mistakes. Their left fielder dropped the ball as well. Just ridiculous mistakes they make. So, and the Brewers, this is what they've done well in the previous 2 years. When somebody does something stupid, make a mistake, the Brewers always seem to take advantage. They outsmart other teams. In this case, took advantage of it. I mean, Boston, top of the 8th inning tie game. Was it top of the 8th? Top of the 7th inning. Top of the 7th inning tie game. No, it was top of the 8th. Top of the 8th because Boston tied it at 4 on a solo home run. So top of the 8th inning, they get the leadoff walk. Abner Uribe all over the place, walks the first batter. So I don't agree with the strategy of bunting a runner over to second base. I think you're wasting it out. So when Boston did that and they moved the runner over to second base with 1 out, I was like, thank you. You took Abner Uribe, who looked to be struggling in this first batter. Yeah, you took him off the hook, basically. You gave him out. So I do not like that play. And sure enough, it didn't work for Boston. And Uribe easily got out of the inning. I don't like it. Now, if you get a leadoff man at second in a tie game, bunting him over to third, that I can live with because there's so many ways that runner can score. But I don't like my chances with a runner at second, especially where they were in their batting order at the time. They were like toward the bottom of their order. Runner at second, 1 out. What are the chances you're going to get a base hit to score the game, the go-ahead run there? You're playing on the road. What are you doing, Boston? So that sort of thinking there, the Brewers just eat that stuff up. And sure enough, Milwaukee eventually went on and got the win. Now, even when Boston, this was a game you just thought the Brewers were going to win. Even when Boston took the 5-4 lead in the top half of the 10th inning, and it could have been much worse than that. It could have been much worse than that. In fact, the Brewers could have touched Peralta. I should say the Red Sox could have touched Peralta for several more runs early on, but bad base running cost the Red Sox a potentially big inning. But hey, you know what? That's not our problem. The Brewers take advantage of that. But I do feel right now, just watching this team, I feel like they're turning the corner a little bit. God, I almost feel like I shouldn't even say that. I really do. I feel like I should almost bite my lip and just not even say it. Because I feel like sometimes those things come back to bite us with our sports teams here in the state of Wisconsin, in particular, the local 9. Seem to, when we put too much faith in them, you know what always happens with the Milwaukee Brewers? It comes back to bite us. But I think with, I really do. Not going to live that way. I think the Brewers are getting some of that magic back. I felt it. I'm disappointed there's an off day on Thursday going into Philadelphia, man. This was a fun last 48 hours watching Brewers baseball, those 2 extra inning wins. And it was like, man, they're doing some nice things out there. They really are. Sure, there's some guys struggling. Sure, you get frustrated at Yelich, even though he had the big hits on Tuesday night. But there are some things to like about this team. I'm not saying they're going to catch the Chicago Cubs. But when the Brewers are scoring some runs like they did today, and yeah, they scored 6 runs. They scored 6 runs. But as well as I do, Brewers can go right back into Philadelphia, and here we are in the 7th inning with 1 run. One thing about the Brewers, they have not played in a lot of blowouts either way, win or lose. Ever notice that? All these games are close, grinding, stomach grinders. I feel like every game is a close game, win or lose. It's never a blowout 12-3 win. In fact, the Brewers haven't scored over double-digit runs since back in April. But even on the other end, you don't see many times them getting crushed. I feel like they're in all these games, win or lose. And that's a good situation to be in. And hopefully the Brewers can keep this thing going. Like I said, the litmus test is coming up in Philadelphia. We're going to get to that coming up here in a little bit. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. Appreciate you joining me here on Locked On Brewers. And one of our great sponsors, Wonderful Pistachios. I don't have my bag of pistachios here, but I put pistachios in my yogurt after my workout. I got a Thursday tomorrow, or if you're seeing this today, I'm dropping this actually late Monday night or late Wednesday night. The Memorial Day holiday has me all messed up. I'm like, what day is it today? I'm dropping this late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. So Thursdays I get a good workout in, good run in. And I come back home and I get the yogurt and I put the Wonderful Pistachios. I just slam a bunch of those in there. Just dump the bag in it. You know, I like eat the popcorn. I like just dump it right in my mouth. Each 1 ounce serving has got 6 grams of protein, over 10% of your daily value. Packed with fiber, better for you unsaturated fats, keeping you fuller longer. Healthy, complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids. This is where you got to go to their website, wonderfulpistachios.com. Learn more on how they are healthy for you. And for you guys who need that protein, and we all do, Wonderful Pistachios, perfect place to go. Wonderfulpistachios.com. Read up on it. Get snacking, get cracking, the snack that packs the protein punch. That's Wonderful Pistachios. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And by the way, our podcast, every day we're on YouTube, our growing YouTube page. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. We are here daily. We are here daily during the week, Monday through Friday, talking Brewers baseball with you. But please go to our growing YouTube page. It'll welcome you right into our YouTube Locked On Brewers studio with all the memorabilia up top there. And we talk Brewers baseball 30 minutes every night. So, and if you're in a car, you can always patch us in with YouTube into your car, but you can download us on the audio platforms as well. Google, Spotify, Apple, right on your phone. Play our podcasts, favorite it, download it. Make sure you set a reminder. Locked On Brewers. Make us your first listen to every day. So when you get up in the morning, it's there for you. Play it on your smart devices or whatever. However you consume your Locked On Brewers or your podcasts, we are there for you every day. Appreciate it. Making us your first listen to every day. Locked On Brewers. Brandon Woodruff. I feel like Brandon Woodruff has made more rehab starts than Brewers have made starts this year. Any Brewer on that staff, I feel like Woodruff has matched them by making rehab starts. I mean, come on. How many rehab starts does this guy need? And I feel like everyone is good too. He went 7 innings for Appleton, 5 hits, 74 pitches, and then the game got rain delayed. But sounds like he's going to go to Nashville for one more. But I have a feeling, if you read between the lines, they are targeting, I feel, and this is my guess, April 9th, when the Brewers are playing the Atlanta Braves a Monday night. I'm feeling that is going to be the night for Brandon Woodruff's return. Nobody has said anything. Nobody tapped me on the shoulder, but I'm just doing the math here, and I got to believe, looking at that rotation, June 9th against Atlanta could be it. My guess. But he's got to be. I mean, those numbers, 7-inning pitch, 74 pitches, 5 hits. How much closer can he get? What more do you have to accomplish with these rehab starts? I know he had a setback with the ankle injury, but my goodness, I feel like He's going to break the world's record for most. If there's a world's record, a Guinness World Book record for rehab starts, Brandon Woodruff certainly would have shattered it by now. Certainly would have shattered it by now. Also, want to get back to the pitch counts on the starting pitchers. Freddy Peralta said going into that game on Wednesday, he needed to give them 6 or 7 innings. Freddie was lucky to stick around for 5. And man, this is the one thing against Freddie that he cannot carry, it seems, into the 6th or 7th inning. He was lucky to get to 5 innings with those 108 pitches. I had him, the scoreboard had him for 58 pitches through 2 innings. 2 innings, 58 pitches. That's absurd. Now, guys were fouling off his pitches and all that too, but he was like running up counts. He'd get ahead of the guy 1 and 2, and then a foul ball and another foul ball, and then a ball and another foul ball. And it's just like, man, through 4 innings, he was at 95. So you could have made an argument he should have been out of there by 4 innings. 4 innings, got a no decision. His record stays at 5-3. But Freddie said he felt good out there. Just couldn't get ahead of the count in some of those counts. And guys are fouling pitches back. 108 pitches for Freddy Peralta. Caleb Durbin. I want to touch on Caleb Durbin. In relation to Joey Ortiz, our shortstop, I feel like Caleb Durbin, and again, he's getting a good run as a rookie. He's getting a great opportunity here. And I feel like the more seasoning he's getting, I feel like we're starting to see a little bit better results out of Caleb Durbin. He had 3 RBIs, season high. And, of course, the game-winning sacrifice fly. Also a go-ahead 2-run double in that game. His contact, well, he's never going to be Babe Ruth out there, right? He's never going to be a 15-home run guy. Did a post-game interview with him today. Small guy. Later on in June, he played for the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders back during COVID, 2021, I want to say, 2020 or whatever. Yeah, he played 2021, I want to say. He played for the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. Next month, they're holding Caleb Durbin night for the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. He's come out there, throw the first pitch and all that, stay with his host family. So I did a little interview where I talked about him. I talked about that with him today. Nice guy. Really nice guy. And I think his best position is going to be second base going further. And I would not be surprised, even though the Brewers would be reluctant to do this, if they move Turang over to short this season, maybe. I mean, Ortiz is struggling badly. Hit a sharp fly ball to left field late in that game with the go-ahead run on base at second base. Sharp fly ball to left field that was caught. But at one point, he laid down a sacrifice bunt. When they were down 3-1, he's laying down a sacrifice bunt, which I was surprised. Moving that run over second. That's another thing I wouldn't do. But maybe with Ortiz, they just feel that Murph feels he's struggling so much that, man, I don't have enough confidence in this guy. Might as well get that runner over to second base. Joey, you laid down the bunt. And that's what happened. But maybe Joey Ortiz wouldn't surprise me somewhere down the line if he has to go and take a trip down to Nashville. And I think if that's the case, Durbin moves to second, Turang moves to shortstop. That's my guess. I think that's the ultimate plan anyway, because Ortiz is on a run here where we got to see what we got of him. And right now, even though he's playing every day, he hasn't earned an everyday start, has he? Ortiz, right? I mean, if there was somebody better we could put at shortstop, Ortiz would not be playing. But they're giving him good run. They got him in the trade from the Corbin Burns deal, and they're giving him a good run at shortstop. There's nobody else to turn to, right? So Ortiz, maybe he needs to get sent down to Nashville because he's one of the worst everyday players production-wise in baseball right now. It's not getting any better. But they may keep him in the lineup every day because, well, you got to run Monasterio out there at shortstop every game. That's your option. But I would put Turang is so good. I think that the Brewers feel shortstop is his ultimate position. They would have tinkered with that in spring training if they didn't really believe that. So we'll see how that goes. But I think Ortiz, I'm feeling that he may be targeted to go down to the minors if he keeps this up. All right, when we come back, we'll see where the Brewers are in the division and look ahead to this Phillies series. Yeah, the Brewers take on Philadelphia at a first of 3 on Friday night. We'll talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. And good to have you along here, Locked On Brewers. The Phillies, who are 33-19. Do I have that right? 33-19. I can't read my writing. They got a doubleheader they got to play at Atlanta on Thursday. Got rained out on Wednesday. Day night doubleheader, I believe it is. Bryce Harper. We'll see where he is at this point. You haven't heard. He got hit with a pitch the other night. X-rays showed no broken bones, just an elbow contusion. So we'll see where that is if he plays it all on Thursday. If they sit him out, if they play him one of the two games, or if he plays both. But yeah, there's a possibility. Who knows where Bryce Harper is going to end up? But he got hit in the elbow on Tuesday, rained out Wednesday. We'll see when he comes back to the ballpark and what the news is with Bryce Harper, if he's got to take a trip to the injured list. But with no broken bones and a contusion, my gut feeling is, who knows? I would guess that he's probably going to play against the Brewers. And obviously, Bryce Harper makes a world of difference in the middle of that Philadelphia lineup. The starting pitchers for this series, Quinn Priester going for the Brewers. Quinn Priester again. Like I said, I feel like there's two Quinn Priesters. He's pitching like every other day, I feel, making a start. Quinn Priester again. He'll pitch on Friday. Chad Patrick on Saturday. And then Sunday is TBA. And Patrick, assuming nobody's activated by then, Quintana, Patrick is going to make that start on Saturday. And I was talking about yesterday's podcast that it just seems like Pat Murphy is angling of sending the Brewers organization, sending Chad Patrick down to the minors because he's got options when the Brewers activate one of their pitchers on the rehab starts, which Jose Quintana was only going to make one rehab appearance in Appleton, and then he's going to be activated. So we'll see. We'll see if Patrick, if he makes that start Saturday, if that's his last one with Milwaukee, and does Quintana take Sunday's start? Lots of starting pitching to go through. And by the way, the Phillies are going with Taijuan Walker on Friday and Jesus Luzardo on Saturday. Sunday, they have not named their starter. Early start on Friday, 5:45. I like these late afternoon early starts, 5:45 Central Time on a Friday. So that's where the Brewers will be on Friday. Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock start. And Sunday will be a 12:35 start. So all three of these games, late, mid, or early afternoon in Philadelphia. And the Brewers will be home the following weekend against San Diego. They won't be home this weekend, but next weekend they come back and they'll take on San Diego in a first of 3 when they begin a 10-game homestand. We'll talk about that at a future date. Tomorrow on the show, we are going to have a guest on the show, and we'll talk more about that. We'll drop the guest's name coming up on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. And David Gasper is going to be joining me, friend of the show. I'll just say right now, David Gasper is going to be joining me. He's on 97.3, does a lot of great blogging and all that, Brewer stuff, covers the Brewers. He's there every game. Dave will join me tomorrow here, or as I call him, Gas. He'll join us on the show tomorrow. So that'll be Friday's episode. And then this weekend, we'll be dropping post-game short videos on YouTube, kind of an analysis, a 60-second analysis on the game. But until then, find us on YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Let it alert you every time we drop an episode. And of course, our audio platforms, we're on all the audio platforms, Google, Spotify, Apple, just to name a few. Look us up there, and please make us your daily listen. You everydayers, I hear from you every day. Continue to the comments. I read your comments every day on what you have to say about the Milwaukee Brewers. And if you want to DM me, you can do that on Twitter. I'll always get back to you. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Have yourself a great Thursday, everybody.